The story begins with a pregnant woman named Natalia, who's about to give birth. Late at night, her mom rushes her to the hospital, but since it's already past midnight, all the doctors have gone home. Only one nurse is still there, and she helps Natalia deliver the baby. But the moment the baby arrives, everyone freezes in shock, because Natalia's newborn starts floating in the air all by himself. Natalia stares at the child in disbelief. She holds him close and whispers to her mom, "I think I've given birth to an angel." But her mother knows the truth. She warns her, "If the world finds out about your child, they'll experiment on him, and you'll lose him forever. We must hide his secret from everyone." Frightened, Natalia agrees, so the two of them take the baby and quietly escape home in the middle of the night. The nurse tries to stop them, but they ignore her and leave. Back home, Natalia's mother asks a strange question. "One day your son will want to know who his father is. Do you even remember him?" Natalia says she doesn't know who the father is. She had been with many men, and she doesn't even care who the father might be. She just wants to raise her baby on her own. She names the baby Oscar. One day, while Natalia and her mother get busy, they leave Oscar alone for a moment. Instantly, the baby floats up and sticks right to the ceiling like a balloon. His grandma panics, pulls him down and covers the ceiling with soft blankets so he won't get hurt again. Time passes, and Oscar starts growing up, but Natalia and her mom never allow him outside, terrified someone might discover his anti-gravity ability. Oscar watches other kids from his window and dreams of playing with them, like a normal child. Since he can't go to school, his grandmother teaches him at home. He spends most of his time watching TV, superhero shows like Batman and Superman, and because he can float just like them, he starts believing he's a superhero too. One day, Oscar asks his mom, "Why won't you let me go outside?" But Natalia stays silent. Eventually, Oscar gets so bored that he tries sneaking out of the window. His grandmother catches him and gets furious. She seals the window shut, making sure he can never leave again. Natalia disagrees. She tells her mom, "We can't keep him locked inside forever. One day he has to go out. We already weigh down his pockets with heavy objects, so he can stay on the ground. Let's do the same outside." At first, her mother refuses, but after Natalia begs her, she finally agrees. So Natalia puts 2 heavy metal weights into Oscar's pockets and takes him outside for the very first time. Oscar is beyond happy. For the first time in his life, he gets to go out and enjoy the world. Later, Natalia takes Oscar to a nearby store. Before going inside, she tells him to wait outside until she comes back. While Oscar waits, he accidentally bumps into a little girl named Agatha, and her groceries fall to the ground. Annoyed, Agatha demands that Oscar carry her bags and walk her home. At first he refuses, but after she keeps insisting, he finally agrees. She hands him 2 heavy bottles of water and tells him to follow her. As they walk, Oscar starts feeling exhausted. The metal weights in his pockets and the water bottles in his hands make him feel extremely heavy, so he secretly removes the weights from his pockets and throws them away. Luckily, he doesn't float up, only because he's still holding the water bottles. Once they reach Agatha's house, she asks him to give her bottles back. Oscar refuses, scared that if he lets go, he'll start floating in front of her. But Agatha snatches the bottles anyway, and in an instant, Oscar shoots up into the air like a balloon, crashing gently into the balcony wall and getting stuck there. Agatha is stunned. She has no idea what she's seeing. She shouts, "You're like Superman." Oscar nervously asks her to help him get down, so Agatha runs inside and comes back with her school backpack. Oscar holds it, and the extra weight finally brings him back down to the ground. They both smile at this point. They've already become friends. Oscar begs her not to tell anyone his secret. Agatha promises to keep quiet. Meanwhile, Natalia and Oscar's grandmother are terrified because Oscar is missing. On the road, Grandma finds the metal weights that were in Oscar's pockets. She panics, thinking Oscar floated away and maybe even died. But just then, Oscar walks back home, wearing Agatha's heavy backpack, which helped keep him grounded. Natalia asks, "Where did you get that bag?" Oscar replies, "It belongs to my friend Agatha." She then asks if he told Agatha about his ability. Oscar lies and says, "No, Mom, I didn't tell her anything." The next day, Agatha comes over, and the 2 kids have fun playing together. Soon she starts visiting every day, and they spend most of their time together. Natalia allows it, believing Agatha knows nothing about Oscar's powers. But one day, Natalia overhears Agatha asking Oscar about how he can fly. Realizing the truth, Natalia decides to stop them from seeing each other. The following morning, when Agatha arrives, Natalia lies and says Oscar isn't home. Agatha keeps coming back day after day, but Natalia never lets her in. Oscar stays locked inside, and the neighbors start getting suspicious. They think Natalia and the grandmother are abusing the boy, keeping him inside all day, not sending him to school, and isolating him. Suspicion grows so much that someone files a police complaint. The next day, 2 officers show up to investigate, but Oscar speaks bravely in front of them, saying, "My mom and grandma love me. I'm not being hurt. I don't want to complain about them." The officers leave, but before going, they warn Natalia, "Either you enroll him in school, or you'll you'll be arrested. Following the police warning, Natalia finally takes Oscar to school the next day. But the moment she walks into the classroom, she notices something terrifying. All the kids' backpacks are hanging outside the room. Natalia instantly realizes the problem. Oscar won't be able to keep his heavy backpack with him at all times, and the metal weights in his pockets could be removed. If that happens, he could float in front of everyone, and the whole world would learn his secret. Panicking, she takes Oscar and rushes him back home. That very week, Natalia decides to disappear. She, Oscar, and her mother move far away to a remote, snowy area where no one will ever discover Oscar's ability. Years pass. Oscar grows up, but sadly, his grandmother passes away. Now it's just Natalia and Oscar, living alone in the frozen isolation. Natalia protects him like her entire world, and Oscar loves his mother dearly. But spending years hidden away from society has left him emotionally drained. He feels lost, unsure of who he is or what he's meant for. He still misses Agatha. He keeps her backpack with him all the time, just to feel like she's still a part of his life. After reading superhero comics for years, Oscar starts to believe that maybe if the world discovered his powers, he could become famous too, like the heroes he grew up watching. But every time he brings it up, Natalia shuts him down. She's terrified that if he reveals his gift, the world will take him away forever. Oscar listens to her for a long time, until one day, he just can't hold himself back anymore. He goes to a reality TV talent show and tells everyone, "I can fly." At first, the audience laughs. Nobody believes him. Then Oscar floats into the air in front of thousands of people. The crowd explodes with shock and excitement. They've never seen anything like it. The episode goes viral overnight. Oscar becomes an instant worldwide sensation, and Natalia watches it all on TV, helpless, realizing she can no longer protect him. The next morning, a promoter named David, who organizes talent shows, arrives at Oscar's door. He offers Oscar a contract, promising fame and money. Oscar signs. After all, he has always dreamed of becoming famous because of his power, just like the superheroes he admired. David and Oscar start touring together, performing all over the world. Every show is a massive hit. People across the globe are obsessed with the man without gravity. Oscar finally has everything he ever wanted, but soon it stops feeling like a dream. He realizes he's nothing more than a circus act now, a clown who floats for entertainment. This wasn't the life he imagined. Documentaries and short films start being made about him, but they twist the story. They portray Natalia and his grandmother as villains who abused him and locked him away. They make it dramatic just to attract more viewers. Oscar hates it, because in reality, his grandmother loved him deeply. She sacrificed everything to keep him safe. During one show, Oscar is forced to wear an angel costume. Looking at the cheering audience, something inside him breaks. He finally shouts, "I'm not an angel. I'm just a normal human being." Frustrated and exhausted, Oscar decides he doesn't want fame, crowds, or applause anymore. He just wants a real life, a normal life. When David learns about Oscar's decision, he begs him not to walk away, but Oscar ignores him. He leaves everyone who knows the truth about his ability, along with Natalia and David, disappearing from the world. The next day, breaking news spreads everywhere. Oscar, the man without gravity, is dead. David lied to the media just as Oscar requested. He faked Oscar's death so that no one would ever hunt him down, question him, or drag him back into the spotlight. Reporters rush to Natalia, demanding answers, but Natalia truly has no idea where Oscar went. She says nothing, and eventually she passes away too. Years later, we see a completely different Oscar. Now he hides in a wheelchair so no one recognizes him. He's changed his identity and works quietly as a hotel receptionist. For the first time in his life, he's happy, living simply, living normally, yet he never let go of Agatha. He still carries her old backpack, the same one that helped him stay grounded when they were kids. It's the closest thing he has to her. One day, a girl arrives at the hotel. She notices the backpack and freezes in shock. She's Agatha. She recognizes him instantly. Oscar recognizes her too, but something has changed. Agatha is now living a harsh life, forced by circumstances. She comes to the hotel with different men. Even standing close to each other, they feel miles apart, but Oscar still loves her. One day, he confesses his feelings. Agatha barely reacts. She's heard too many empty promises in her life. Emotional words no longer impress her. But over time, as they keep meeting every day, Oscar's sincerity slowly starts to reach her heart. She realizes she feels something too, something real. Eventually, they get married. Oscar moves back into the same home where he once lived with his mother and grandmother. A home filled with memories, good and painful. But now, Agatha is there. Together, they build a life filled with love, a normal life, a happy life. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to drop a like, share it with a friend, and hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories just like this.